You just need to come up with a good line or two. They'll all fall for it. It's really bizarre. That smell of shit. It seems to be following me wherever I go. Because you are a piece of shit. Hello, Shotgun Squirrel here, and welcome back to another episode of 1 Hour In. Today we're playing a game called Night Call, which seems to be quite an interesting one. I think it's going to be much more on the gameplay side, not much on the visuals. It's very two-toned, detective noir type story. It looks quite interesting, so as always, it's on the Game Pass, so I thought I'd give it a go. I've got my 1 hour timer ready for once the game begins, so I guess we'll get started. Taxi Parisien. Oh yeah, so we're based in France, as you can tell by the bloody Eiffel Tower. Oh, is that free roaming? I don't know what that is. I just would do. Oh yeah, subtitles. Always check for subtitles. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, that's quite cool. I've never had one of those before. Normal, I suppose. Why does that keep changing everything? Why do you keep... Ah! Okay. I have to use the D-pad. Normal. Okay, cool. Alright, so it looks like there's going to be no speaking anyway. It's all subtitles, I think. Right, new game. Number 5. Oh, taxi. Is the game started? Oh, that's a cool loading. Oh, no. Okay, no. The game hasn't started. I think we're still in menus. Alright, we've got the judge. Victims have all something in common and motives seem clear, but what suspect could have done it? Balanced case. Perfect for a first run. Perfect for a first run. Alright, let's do it. Choose a difficulty mode. We're going to go for... That's really cool. That's a nice symbolism for difficulty. Cool. Yeah, we're going to go for story. Money will be easy to get by. The investigation will be easier. Every action will take less time for a chiller experience. The way Night Call was designed. Oh no. The way Night Call was designed, we'll play balanced. That's what we will do. That is such a cool loading. Like, I don't know, what do you even call them? Loading notification system? I don't know. The moving thing that tells you that the game is loading. Such a nice one, that road passing by. Oh, right. Starting timer now. This is intense. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, this is relatively modern. I always smoke in detective movies or in games. It's just fact of life. God, this is intense. But, like, we've just got questions. There's no answers. It's all questions. Oh, doctor. Okay, turn into auto mode. Let's give that one a go. Here? Sir, can you hear me? Or do I need to speak up? You're fine. She takes a deep breath. Sir, you just spent 2 weeks in a coma. The word bounces around your head. You need a moment to understand its meaning. Coma? The word scratches along your throat. Yes, you were the victim of an assault. The word resonates in your head. Victim. You are aware a serial killer is currently on the loose in Paris? You feel the contents of your stomach crawling up your throat. The judge, as the police call the killer, assaulted you. Oh, no, that is way too quick. No. No. Manual mode. Her voice becomes more distant. Fades. You taste bile at the back of your mouth. Your head is burning. You hear a whistle in one ear. Your fingers move to your wound. Underneath the bandages, you can feel hard skin. It's incredibly painful. Did they... I'm sorry? Did they catch the judge? No. What about my passenger? He was dead before you even got out of your cab. The doctor is silent for a second. A very awkward second. She hesitates. The police would like to see you as soon as possible to ask you some questions. After all, you're the only one who's survived the judge. Noise in the hallway attracts your attention. You try to turn your head, to no avail. You need to rest. She leaves the room. Her voice resonates in the hallway. I don't care. He's the only witness. He's... Another female voice joins in, a strong, authoritarian voice. You can't clearly make out what she's saying. A strange feeling washes over you. It's not pain, not fatigue, some odd combination of the two. Before being in this hospital room, you had never realised that anger was made up of a combination of pain and exhaustion. Anger. A feeling you know all too well. Days go by, and a month later. Night 1. Oh, that's a cool map. That's so cool. Oh. Well, look, I've got a bit of a problem. A real problem, that is. You have a pounding headache. It's your first night behind the wheel since the attack. Are you listening to me? You catch your boss's eye in the rearview mirror. Sorry. I just want things to get back to normal, to clear my head, to stop thinking about it all. He's watching you closely, trying to make out what's going on in your head. You know, I'm worried about you, don't you? I know. You're like a son to me, you know? I know. And you know he's about to tell you the story of his taxi fleet, again. When my father died and left me the store, I could have sold it. I could have retired, gone back to the old country. Let me go on. But I decided to start a cab fleet with the money he left me to hire the guys from the neighbourhood. And that's why I've got 45 guys like you working for me. His hands flutter in the air. Though none of them are any match for you. He smiles. His voice suddenly takes on a serious note. Do you want me to go over everything again? He points to the equipment on the dashboard, the meter, the GPS. You haven't been in a taxi for weeks. Maybe you do need a little refresher. Yeah, good idea. Right then. Well, first the map. You spot... Oh god, okay. Well, first the map. You spot potential customers and try to guess where they're going. Then you decide. When a customer orders a taxi, if there's no one else around, you have to go pick them up. He shrugs. That's the way it goes. It's business. No problem. The other fares, you look at the map and decide whether or not you want to take them. And then you drive. He flashes a quick mechanical smile. You know it well. When he talks about work, he talks about work. That's all. When your shift is over, we'll do the numbers, and his voice trails off, as if searching for the right words. And that's all. It's pretty simple. There's no reasons why you can't do it. Oh right, no overtime. We're in France here, and there are rules, regulations. You might not see it that way, but no one likes having a driver who hasn't slept for 24 hours. He looks away. Something's been bothering him since he got into the cab. Anyhow, you know the ropes, you get it. I know you're going to do a good job. What's the matter? Your boss keeps quiet for a while, as if he's hesitant to speak, and then... I don't think it's a good idea. You shouldn't be driving. The murderer is still out there, and we think he's going to come back for you. We? Your colleagues and I do. Your colleagues and I do too. Anyway, I'll get back to work. He's just gone from, I'm really concerned about you, I don't think you should be doing this too. Anyway, you better get out there and make me some money. Every minute in your taxi is a minute lost. He gives you a smile, half ironic, half serious. Have a good evening. The sarcasm in your voice is palpable. I don't mean it sarcastic. Right, you have a good evening too. You'll spend the rest of the night dealing with problems and drivers. You wonder how or when the guy gets any sleep. Your boss opens the door and exits the cab. You watch him cross the street and enter the fleet garage. A couple of colleagues are milling about. Taxis are coming and going. They all ignore you, consciously or unconsciously. You are branded. You sit there a moment, then turn the key in the ignition. The hum of the engine sends a tingle down your spine. It's impossible to describe how you miss that feeling. It's back to the night shift, back to life. Despite the attack. Despite it all. Right. Okay, so I just pick someone. I'm going to go pick up this guy. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We're just going to accept everything. We're a good guy. The passenger who sat us in the back seat could be a male model. He asks you to take him to the Charles de Gaulle airport. His voice is mild and pleasant. You sense your passenger wants to talk about the killer. It's simple. Since the first murder, everyone thinks they know something. Everyone thinks they saw something. And this passenger is no exception. You watch him in the rearview mirror as he adjusts his clothes, checks his breath, obviously primping. Primping? I'm not sure what that means. You drive people to the airport all the time. They bring along a suitcase or a bouquet of flowers. Your passenger doesn't have either. He's looking at himself in the rearview mirror. His lips part and he runs his tongue over his teeth. Nothing stuck in my teeth, right? You shake your head no. You wonder why he's going to the airport. Well, he's clearly meeting someone. You're wondering why I'm going to the airport, aren't you? Yeah, sure. I could tell you were curious. I'll tell you, but it's a secret. His voice has changed, as if he were about to deliver a speech. Women today are too smart for us men. Too smart. They're on to us the minute we try to hit on them. He crinkles his nose as if there were a bad smell in the cab. There are dozens of books on how to get lucky, on how to score, but they all make the same big mistake. Do you know what that mistake I'm talking to you about is? They're written by men. Yes, that's such a good response. I don't see why that's a problem. After all, deer don't write books on hunting, do they? He smirks. No, let me tell you. All those books about hitting on women never tell you where the best hunting grounds are. Theatrical pause. Airports. Another theatrical pause. It's brilliant, right? Women in airports are lonely, emotional, and available. On the street, they must be in a hurry, don't have any time. At the movies or in the museums, they don't want to be disturbed. But at the airport. He's clearly very proud of himself. You remain silent. He crinkles his nose and sniffs again. Is it me, or is there a funny smell in your cab? You sniff too. Sorry, I don't smell anything. He shrugs, then goes back to his monologue. Personally, I prefer older women. I'm not going to interrupt him. Let him talk. Single mums who are at the airport to pick up or send their kids to their exes. They are waiting at the unaccompanied... Jesus Christ, that's a mouthful. They are waiting at the unaccompanied miner's counter to get information about a late flight or a gate change. I walk over to the counter, look at the flight information, pretend to be worried. My sister, I say. I'm waiting for my little sister. She's never been to Paris before. I'm going to take her to the Louvre. She wants to work in fashion someday. She's already very talented. I hope everything is okay, that she had a good flight. She means the world to me. She's my half-sister, but I love her like a sister. I smile. He takes another sniff, glances around the cab, then picks up where he left off. The half-sister line, it works every time. Divorced parents, remarried, every time. He bursts out laughing. Let him talk. A word of advice though. You have to get there early. Make a day of it. Keep an eye on the domestic flights, the delays, the companies. It requires a little preparation, but I usually go home with 20, even 30 numbers. In 6 hours. Not bad, eh? Should I interrupt him? He has asked me a question. Excuse me, do you mind if I ask you a personal question? No, of course. Not at all. Anything to help you understand my game plan. Do you really need to talk through all that? What do you do after all that? Do you really... Yeah, what do you do after all that? After what? After you get their numbers. Ah, very good question. I rate all the women I talk to, give them stars on a scale of 1 to 5 according to appeal level. I go home and I start sending messages. First to the 3 stars. He drops his voice in knowing tones. They're the easiest. The best looks easy ratio. Same thing the next day with the 4 stars. They usually play hard to get. They see themselves as real beauties. He sniffs with a look of disgust. And then the 5 stars, the day after that. Just to leave them hanging a little, to get them to doubt their own attractiveness. It's rule number 1 when you want to pick up women with a little strategy. Lower their sense of self-esteem. The cab pulls into the drop-off lane. Your passenger pays the fare and exits the cab. I'm telling you, you should take my advice. It's a piece of cake. You just need to come up with a good line or two. they'll all fall for it. It's really bizarre, that smell of shit. It seems to be following me wherever I go. Because you are a piece of shit. He walks away. Under the sole of his right shoe, you catch sight of a dark brown spot. The passenger disappears into the airport. You roll down the back seat window and start up the cab. Damn it, he brought crap into my cab. I'm not servicing that. Weird pug. It's not happening. That is a long ass fare. Cool. A couple is getting into your taxi. A couple like you've seen so many times before. Attractive, a bit tipsy, drooping eyelids. He's already asleep. Must be about 20, maybe more. She's still smiling faintly, like the evening has a lasting effect on her. She's older, maybe 40, 45. Alicia. Right, next to the movie... Oh, is that the direction? Alicia. Right next to the movie theatre. Very well. You pull away, leave the street, the neighbourhood behind. Your passengers say nothing. When you downshift, you can hear the man's heavy snoring. The woman stares right at you. I beg your pardon. This may seem odd, but... What do we look like? I mean, he and I. What do we look like? Questioning a couple? Yeah, a couple. Thank you. She pauses. I happened upon two friends who were making fun of us tonight. We could be mother and son. It's stupid. She hesitates and... Forget it. Let's just drop it. Sorry to have bothered you with that. No need to apologise. No need to apologise. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I don't think I ever met a taxi driver who was so understanding before. I mean, I've literally said like 2 lines to you. I am serious. She watches you for a while. You can see the hesitation in her eyes. Then she turns her head. I'm too defensive. It's unhealthy, not good. Not for me, nor for Eves. I'm assuming it's Eves. Ives, maybe? Her expression hardens. I love him more than anything, you know? People think... They want to think he's some sort of toy. But he's not a toy. I did not choose him because he's young and thick and chic. I love him, period. Can you understand that? Yeah, I think so. I don't really know what to put words to what I actually feel. She takes a deep breath. Her throat shakes from all the air. Outside, the reflection of an interior design store appears in a frozen puddle. I think the problem is me. I don't need a mirror to see it. He's young, he's handsome, he's filled with energy from morning to night. My joints creak. I lose a fraction of eyesight as each year passes. I got lost on my own street the other night. I'm a burden on him. Don't say that. She smiles coyly at you. You're not a shrink. I shouldn't, unload on you like this. I think I've said enough. Far too much. You have been remarkable. Thank you. A few minutes later, you reach their destination. You pull up at the sidewalk. Your passenger plunges a hand into her bag and stops. What if... Why are we still driving? We should be stopped now. She shakes her head. No, forget it. She pays the fare, and as she is putting her wallet back in her bag, she hands you a bill. A €100 bill. Would you mind using this money to take Eves to a hotel? I don't have the will to do it myself. We need to put an end to this. He deserves someone else. Proposition leaves you speechless for a while. No, he's an adult. He can make his own decisions too. I'm serious. Out of the question. Why not? Be honest. You are a very attractive woman. It appears you're both doing very well for yourselves, judging by the place I picked you up and where you live. I don't know if he loves you, and I couldn't care less to tell you the truth. But I can't think of anyone who deserves to be left behind in a taxi like that. The lines on her face fade in the dark. And I'm really a bit insulted by your request. But let's move on. I'm putting it away. The money goes back in her bag. A car passes on your left and pulls over next to you. The driver asks if you're leaving soon. 1 minute. You turn to your passenger. I've got to go. You should do the same. She seems horrified by her behaviour. I'm so sorry. You wave her off. It's nothing. No big deal. A second later, she's walking to her place, holding on to her partner. He hasn't even woken up. You smile, wondering what it must have dreamed about. You'd like to have similar dreams. You let the other car pull in and go back to your shift. Yeah, the map and stuff isn't matching up with the conversation. I understand maybe that's because I'm pressing A, but it just seems a bit weird. Especially as I was meant to be going further than I currently... Oh, the door suddenly opens and a woman gets into the back seat. Having a good night? For a second you freeze. It's one of the cops working on the judge's case. She grins at you. Her voice creaks. You remember seeing her at the hospital. Something already bothered you about her there. You know, it's actually pretty crazy. For weeks, I've been saying to myself, there's something off about you. Something not so nice. I dug around, mulled it over, bugged all my fellow cops about it, but I'm sure you lied to us. I didn't lie. She whistles to cut you off. Hey, I'm talking. She has a cold sneer on her face. I'm going to be frank with you. She leans over to you. I don't think you're the judge. Nah, I just can't picture it. She squints, like she's trying to make you out from far away. Like, you'd have gone to the extent of hurting yourself? Yeah, between us is a bit of a stretch. She stares at you. But not enough of a stretch for my chief to stop going on and on about you. Seriously, he talks about you all the time. If I didn't know better, I'd think he had a crush on you. She smirks. No, I think he's more interested in your profile. In prison at 17. An icy chill fills your gut. And for murder too. You open your mouth but nothing comes out. Since you got out, you've kept a low profile, but you're lying about your name and your address. I checked. It's normal, you would say, if they got word of your time served, no loan for your permit, no lease for your car, meaning no second chance at life. Her voice becomes softer, almost warm. I personally like guys who want a second chance. No, I like guys who fight for a second chance. Basically, I like guys who are willing to work for me. She leans forward, her shining cat-like eyes narrowing. My chief wants to go to the prosecutor with a first and last name with evidence. Actually, knowing him, he's not so hot on evidence. So, I'll give you info. Victims, suspects, medical reports, some photos that are a bit... She makes a gagging noise. You have to be discreet. Keep between you and me. Interrogate, ask questions, dig around. I'm not a cop. She shrugs. Don't worry, you're already keener than half the squad. And don't forget, I'm not asking you to make an arrest and deliver the killer wrapped up with a bow in front of the station, okay? You're no Batman, you're just here to get me more information. She rummages around in her pockets for what seems like forever. Here, take my card. I'll call you in 3-4 days to check in. We'll chat. And I'll let you know if I have any new info. She takes on a didact... I'm not sure what that means. She takes on a didact, paternalistic tone, like she was giving you a list of recommendations for the 100th time. Don't get caught. Don't get arrested. Also, I wouldn't recommend trying to leave Paris. I know what you look like and I know who your friends are. You can either be the solution or the problem, my friend. She takes a minute to scan your face, your emotions. If I have to, I'll go check in on you-know-who. Her smile is biting. That reminds me. Do you know you've done time? You shake your head. She snickers. Oh, my little dirtbag. You cover your tracks well. I did what I could. Yeah, if you say so. She sighs in a tired, exaggerated way. Don't try to mess with me, man. If things don't go well, I'll turn you in. I'll send you a picture of all my friends in the media and every arsehole in Paris. Oh, sorry. I'll send your picture to all my friends in the media and every arsehole in Paris. Your picture with your name on it. Your real name. Anyone close to you will have their places searched. They'll be put under house arrest. Spend nights in jail. You have any idea how tense things are with that fucker's trial underway? You sigh. You know just what she's trying to get at. Come to think of it, your last name are almost the same. You could be brothers, actually. I'm nothing like that son of a bitch. I'm nothing like that terrorist. I'm going to say nothing. She takes on a serious tone, businesslike. I want to catch this killer personally. I want to drag him to court, ruin his fucking life with a bang. I can't botch this case. You got me? And neither can you, right? Obviously. Well, great then. We see eye to eye. So you can just say you're my informant, my CI. He ripped open your gut. He ripped open your gut. You saw your own insides. You were in a coma. Yeah, you have plenty of reasons to want to get back at him. She furrows her brow. Yeah, I think you're actually going to do what I tell you to do. You investigate, ask questions, listen to all the rumours, and you come up with a list of suspects. She lays her hand on the door handle and freezes. Oh, right. And don't get fired. Without this cab, you're worth nothing to me. You glare at her. Say nothing. She puts her hand up and you can hear the words behind it. This conversation never happened. I'll make sure you get more intel tomorrow. I'll find a way. Until then, not a word to anybody. Obviously, not a word. The door opens, squeaks, and slams shut. Fucking bitch. You sit alone for a while, teeth clenched, dry-eyed, ears buzzing. Shit. On the back seat, the cop left a pile of papers. Shit. Key in the ignition, motor running, radio on, crackles. You turn it off and start driving. Talking to passengers might unlock new documents and clues for your investigation. You find them at the back of your back at your studio after your shift. 6 clues discovered, available in your room. Okay. Is that day 1 done? Ah, it looks like it. This is cool. Doing lots of thinking. You take a second to enjoy the silence of your studio apartment. Outside, the city is slowly waking up. You can still hear the hum of the taxi buzzing in your ears. You throw the files Basset gave you on the table. On the wall, you hung up the big corkboard where you used to pin up photos of your nephews. They've been gone since you got out of... Your plan is simple. Jot down all the pieces of evidence and connect them to the suspects. The guilty party won't necessarily be the one with the most evidence against them, but the one with the most compelling evidence against them. It's like you're building a story about each suspect, trying to understand their motives. Understand how he or she got into this situation. A bus goes by, making the walls shake. You glance at your bed and get to work. God, Jesus Christ, there's so much reading. My throat's getting quite sore. Half an hour in, I've just non-stop talking. Right. Okay, so I guess I just... Okay, so these are all the things I've got. Right, let's hold to investigate then. Oh, I have to hold it like that. Okay. 2 clues discovered. Alright, so I just hold these to investigate and that gives me clues. Cool. Picture of the crime scene. Oh, it's eating up time. I see. Checkboard. Okay, so we've got Perrault Bataz. He's a cop in Paris, dubbed as a cop, financial affairs, died 2 years ago. Mum got health insurance after the health scandal. Gay, in a relationship, never disclosed this information at work. Why are you... Message on crime scene 2, you deserve this. And that for some reason ties him to... Can I move them around? No, they've got to stay there apparently. Homeless man with an unknown background, briefly worked for Charles Pougrain, victim 2 in the 90s. Got health issues after victim health scandal. A couple of arrests for breaking and entering. Okay, so both part of a health scandal. Oh, what's this hidden thing here? Ah, the killer's height fits all of them. Okay, so the killer's height, not really relevant because it's relevant for all of them, so it doesn't really need to be there. So you deserve this. Okay, so this guy... So something to do with... Which person was he? He's got no relation. He's just... Okay, so I think it's to do with the Richton scandal. Okay. Killer left messages in chalk on the first 3 crime scenes. Victim 1 was great at football. He was a coach. Well-known lawyer from Saint Defender on the case defender of several molested kids in poor neighbourhoods, was a promising football player when he was 10. Message on crime scene 1 was justice. Okay. Weapon, rare gun used in the 70s. Retired cop joined the police in 1977. Divorced from a judge. Born in the French Antilles. Moved to mainland France. Okay, cool. That's fine. No sign of violence. Autopsy report of victim 3. Message on crime scene 3. Time is up. Which they've linked to Claude Campos, who escaped from Argentina when she was young. Lost her parents to the Argentinian junta. The process. Medical examiner in Paris. So they're victims, or are these are all the suspects, aren't they? No sign of Alex. Killer new victims or research them. So can I tie things to people? So if I select him and click that. No, that just blacks it out. So does it link things later? Is that part of it? Death equals execution, killer case, autopsy victim 3, killer case, killer new victims, research them. Victims killed with bullet in the neck, but I was cut open. Killer left message in chalk on the first 3 crime scenes. Right, this doesn't seem very helpful. Back to desk. End night. With a heavy hand, you wipe your tired face. You open the sofa bed and lie down. The events of the day run through your head. The streets, the passengers, their faces, their problems. You open one eye. Your back aches. You like to close your eyes and go back to sleep. You would like to close your eyes and go back to sleep. You get up quickly. And a few minutes later, you're outside of your studio. Night 2. I don't need fuel, I'm good. Okay, what is that? I don't know. Hopefully this person might be the way we're going. Oh, the complete wrong way. No, sorry, refusing that one. Okay, what is this? Newspaper, no newspaper, listen to radio. Okay, cool, we won't listen to radio in case it's a thing. Alright, we're going to go to this guy, so we're going to go to this point first. And then we can go pick up this guy's fare. You park a few streets away from the Argentinian embassy. You wait there for your contact. You sigh. It seems so odd to have a contact. So excessive. The guy is one of your regulars, poker buddies, and night watchman at the embassy. You get out of your taxi and walk towards the big metal gate. Clean lines, early 20th century maybe. Lots of wrought iron. The gate opens and someone moves towards you. They indicate you should follow them. The person's face is hidden by an oversized hoodie. Your heart starts beating faster. What if it was... Who are you? It's me, Jamie. You're David's buddy. You immediately recognise his accent. You don't feel like you're in any danger and decide to follow him. You walk into a narrow covered passageway, probably the entrance to a parking garage. The man turns around and lights up a cigarette. The lighter lights up his face for a second. A young man with curly hair, pale skin. He looks young, very young. Had to be 250 euros. For the intel? Yeah, for the intel. He laughs, a strange guttural sound. What do you think this was? A date? You want the information on Gorocheva? I got info on that name. And it'll cost you 250 euros. So what will it be? Okay, so this is weird because there's been no suggestion that we were asking for this information. This has just come out of left field. I didn't get told that eye marks on the map were things I had to go to. I just thought it seemed something of interest. This is really weird, but yeah, I'm going to bargain. He raises his hands in front of his chest. His accent becomes stronger. No, it's 250 euros or nothing. If someone learns I fished around, they'll fire me on the spot. Fine, I'll pay, because I've got no idea. Ooh, I've got no money. For that price, you hope the intel is good. You pay. Listen up, because I'm not going to say it twice. Gorchev is definitely a colonel from the junta, one of the few who wasn't arrested and put on trial. He is responsible for torturing dozens of political opponents. He tortured and killed them. You know, we don't like him much here, but the rich Argentinians in Paris love him. They really respect him. Respected him? The difference doesn't seem important to him. Yeah, if it makes you happy. Oh, I've corrected his grammar. He looks back at you. There's one last thing. I read in the newspaper that the killer wrote a message in chalk. Time's up. It was a slogan at the end of the junta. A sort of watchword from the opponents. It was time for them to go. You get it? You nod. A second later, you're back in your taxi with a hole in your wallet, but with new information on one of the victims. If you follow this lead, maybe investigation will move forward. You start the car and get back to your shift. Okay, so I need to get some money now. Let's go do... Why is that guy flashing? I don't know, but I was going to him anyway. So let's go grab this guy. Hey pal, can you help me out? Yeah, I can. The door opens. It's Hervé, a homeless man like hundreds of others in Paris. Oh, I didn't check the fare. Was it like no money at all? You've known each other for years, and every now and then he asks a favour of you to drive him someplace. As usual, he greets you quietly, though he always seems a little on edge. Hey, buddy, what's up, pup? He has a strange verbal tick that you never really understood. You start the cab. Hiv seems pretty happy with himself today. In the rearview mirror, you watch him run his tongue over his lips, as if mentally preparing for a good meal. He catches your eye and smiles. Sorry, I'm a bit out of it today. So I see. It's just that I had a bad week, you know? A really bad week. Then yesterday, he hesitates, as if he can't believe that what he was about to say, like it's too good to be true. The lines around the corner of his eyes, they show his real age, crinkle slightly. Hervé gives a little laugh. Serious, man. I don't believe in God, you know. I don't believe in all that bullshit shit. It doesn't make any sense. Some guy with a beard up in the sky. I never got it. What people saw in him. Anyhow, God. None of us believe in him on the street. His eyes crinkled up in the corners again. I mean, we believe when the soup kitchen goes to the church. Yeah, sure, we believe in him then. He flashes his teeth and lets out a harsh, raspy laugh. A pause. So, yesterday? Yesterday. He's observing you. His eyes light up all of a sudden. Oh yeah, yesterday. He's talking faster now, an incessant flow. I was starving, man. It was pretty bad. Toby and I had gotten through all the garbage bins in the neighbourhood. Toby, he's this German guy. He says he prefers France, that we're more generous here. So I was starving. Hervé's eyes tear up. His voice drops off. A faraway look comes over him. A lengthy pause. You okay, Hervé? He snaps out of it. Yeah, like I was saying that, yeah, I was starving. I was hanging out near the supermarket on Rue Mats. I'm trying. Fancy neighbourhood, but not too fancy. No cops. He gives you a wink. That's always a plus. And then there was this guy I sometimes see around, a young guy, like just a kid. He comes out of the supermarket with his groceries, and before I even say a word, he hands me a can of cassoulet. A can of cassoulet as big as a beach ball. Herv's face lights up. I didn't even know that they made them that big. Herv bursts out laughing and his eyes wander back to the street. And then? And then what? Bah, I don't know. That's the whole story? Your passenger stares at you for a minute. Yeah, the kid gave me a 3-meal can of cassoulet. You say nothing. What were you expecting? I don't know. Herv suddenly pats you on the shoulder. Hold on. Wait. I'm going to get out of here if you don't mind. You park the cab as soon as you see an empty space. Thanks, man. He's looking out the window. Yeah, I think that's him. Him. Who? Nothing. Without another word, he opens the door and gets out. This time, I'm going to get him. A moment later, he vanishes into a dark alley. Sit there a minute. Your eyes scan the dark, narrow street, but you can't make anything out. Then something moves in the distance, a silhouette, probably Hervé, now at a run. The form darts under a street lamp. It is Hervé, holding something in his hand. He immediately vanishes from sight. You sit there a minute and then you switch on the ignition and pull out the parking space. Ah, shit, he just shot someone. Cool. Right, we need to make some money because we've not made any money yet. This guy probably wants to go far. Let's hope so. Two women are leaning against the balcony just above your head. They're smoking a joint and... Okay, cool. That's fine. That's a pretty big fare. Yeah, sure. Let's do. You immediately recognise the next passenger getting in your taxi. You never watch television, rarely listen to the radio, you don't read the newspaper, and yet you know Francois de la Nery's face. Polemist, novelist, columnist, politician too, you think. Your passenger distractedly gives you his address. You start driving. He appears to be out of breath. His voice and hands are shaking. Unbelievable. He separates each syllable as if it was going to protect him from the voice around him. Unbelievable. Is everything okay? Can you even begin to fathom what a public danger this represents? What? A mere 5 minutes ago, I wanted to cross the street. Suddenly, slicing through the darkness and deafening silence, came an electric car. Its asphalt-coated tyres drove right over the tip of my loafer. It's shot, I can tell. The leather is compressed and streaked with mud and soot. It's a travesty. A travesty. He begins writing furiously. You catch a few words from time to time. What for? For the environment? Create more road deaths? Save polar bears? He leaves you hanging for a second before grinning. Another badly thought out stunt from the snowflake hipster lobby. Quinoa? Electric planes that will crash into Charlie Gras Airport without a sound. You hear a throaty laugh. The Earth, safe, intact, clean, but at what cost? No way, Jose. Our planet produces oil, so we must use it. It would be unnatural not to. Unnatural indeed. He chuckles crudely. Rise up in defense of the sweet pure... For bloody hell. Rise up in defense of the sweet purr of the convertible, just as they would the hoot of the owl in danger of extinction in the lush forests of the Champagne region. Ah, murderer, assassin, the ferocious silence made to oppress us. He puts down his notebook. A wolfish grin spreads across his face. Yes, magnificent editorial, just magnificent. What about you? What do you want? Would you want to have a silent car? No. I'm just saying that because I don't want to get in an argument with this bloke. See now? See? I'm not the least bit surprised. And if taxi drivers don't like them, then something is definitely wrong with this world. Seriously though, I'm being straight with you. No bells and whistles, it's God's honest truth. A city without noise is not a city, mark my words. You drive in silence for a few minutes. In the back seat, the polemist is fuming, and you catch occasional snippets of nonsense. The taxi has almost reached your passenger's place. It's just here. You pull up in front of the address, an old building, freshly renovated. On the top floor, the bay windows shine faintly in the darkness as the Eiffel Tower's spotlight washes over them. Your passenger sighs. Oh, the devils, the fools. It's the middle of the night and they're still having the time of their lives. He opens a window on his side and screams at a packed cafe. The heated patio is filled with young people, well dressed and quite drunk. When will you cease this madness? He turns to you and whisper as if in secret. Every night they make one hell of a racket. Possible to get a wink of sleep. He pays, gets out of the car, and is in front of the bar in 3 angry leaps. You can hear his voice from far away. A few words and some outdated swearing with a whiff of senility. You stop listening and drive off. Cool. I've still got some fuel, so let's go for this person as they're already on the road and I could just keep going straight. Yep, cool. Accept. Your next passenger is waiting on the sidewalk with an enormous suitcase next to him. You get out of the cab, pick up the suitcase, which must weigh 45 kilos at the very least, and put it in the trunk. Why would you say 45? You'd say 40 or 50, you wouldn't say 45. You get back in with your passenger close on your heels. The door slams shut. You turn the key in the ignition and look up at your passenger. Charles de Gaulle, right? He nods and you start driving. It's still pretty early to be getting on a plane. He must be the type that likes to get there well ahead of time. Japanese, Chinese, you're not sure. You smile. Tourists always have such a magical image of Paris. There's almost no traffic and you're able to drive at a decent speed. Behind you in the rearview mirror, you can see the tip of the Eiffel Tower start to appear. Say nothing. I'm going to say nothing. He keeps staring at you with an annoyed expression. He obviously doesn't understand. Words. His voice is frank with a dose of exhaustion. More words. More words. More words. Okay, it's Japanese. You're sure now. More words. More words. He imitates the sound of a plane taking off. More words. More words. You think you may recognize the name of the airport. I don't understand. He shakes his head. That's not what he wanted to hear. You hear him mumbling to himself. His voice is deep and heavy. More words. More words. More words. More words. More. He takes a short pause to swallow his spit. More words. More words. More words. More words. Say nothing. More words. His tone and voice makes you think he's making a list of all the things he hated. More words. More words. More words. He mumbles on and on. More words. More words. More words. More words. More words. He's made that sound before. More words. More words. Third time. More words. More words. You immediately recognize the word. For sales? More words, but with exclamation mark. For sales. More words. He bursts out laughing. More words. More words. More words. He glances at you. More words. You don't understand. More words. More words. You get the impression he wants you to repeat what he's saying. Repeat. Words. You give it a go. He nods. Words. You give it a go. Words. He falls back into his seat, his eyes closed. He doesn't want to speak to you anymore. You've had passengers who didn't speak any French before, but this one seems furious. Maybe he didn't like Paris? Maybe he prefers Tokyo. You smile. For just a second, you imagine yourself as a taxi driver in Tokyo. Businessmen, well-dressed high schoolers, those Japanese mobsters. What are they called again? Leave them alone. You keep driving. You think about the movie you saw during your hospital stay. A black American soldier on the run who starts hanging out with some sort of bum who had a huge jazz fan. It was a singular movie. Incredible. It made a real impression on you. The title was... No, you can't remember the title. And how could you possibly describe it to your passenger? Impossible. What a shame you can't speak his language. What a shame not to understand him, not to be able to talk to him about it. You sigh. Maybe later. You'll have time to learn Japanese. It's probably hard. Not the same alphabet, not the same letters. But then again, your parents could read in Arabic and write in French. So could you too? Yes, later you'll have time. And then, here you're at the airport. A heap of ramps and tunnels brings you to the drop-off zone. You pull to the stop and your client wakes up. He notices the airport, a few taxis, your own fatigue. He starts talking peacefully in a soft voice. Things. Words. Stuff. More words. More words. He shakes his head. Okay. He pays his fare with a twinge of shame. You get out of your taxi and help him get his suitcase out of the trunk. It weighs a ton. He thanks you with a sad look of defeat. He grabs onto your sleeve as you try to get back in your car. More words. You nod very slowly. Say nothing. He looks you over slowly from head to toe. When he starts speaking again, his voice is monotone and completely void of emotion. More words. Something inside you resonates, like you understood what he just said. More words. 19. He's lost someone. His wife, maybe. He looks upset. More words. He shakes his head. He should have come with someone. More words. If you could only understand him. He bows. When he straightens up, his eyes are misty. You don't know why, but it seems normal to reply. You're welcome. He walks away with his huge suitcase. Without looking back, your passenger goes into the airport. The sliding glass doors close behind him. You start to realise the airport is waking up all around you. A woman who must have been a Viking in another life is pushing a floor waxer across the tiles in the entryway, just below the heating vents. A fellow driver wakes as he's leaving the drop-off zone. A plane, maybe the first one of the day, appears in the sky. You get back in a taxi. For a minute, you rub your freezing hands together to warm them up. Just a few seconds before driving off. Cool. Oh, I've got time to do another one. Alright, well, I'll just grab this one as I'm right next to it. Oh, yes. Good money. Your next passenger slides into the cab and slams the door rather violently. Cool. She gives you her address. You start driving. You give her a quick once-over. No suitcase, no purse, no pile of papers or tickets, no wedding band, and a look of defeat on her face. She drops someone off at the airport. Not her kids, not a husband, not a colleague or a client. Who? Should I or shouldn't I? You raise your head. Excuse me? Your passenger jumps. Did I say that out loud? Her face turns crimson. I'm sorry, She shakes her head, apologises profusely and stumbles over her words. No worries. It's a bit hard to understand what's going on with me right now. You sense she needs to talk about it. More like she must talk about it. Her voice is warm and deep and has a stunning accent. The West Indies? I'm in shock. No, not the West Indies. Don't worry, it's nothing serious. On the contrary, I'm in love. Silence. She's from an island, but you can't tell which one. Out of the blue, just like that. Whereas I'm usually... She shakes her head. I'm usually the one people fall in love with. I'm demanding, complicated. I usually have someone on my mind, but it's never the right person. But this time it was reciprocal. She flashes an incredible smile. She's American, lives in Seattle. She's a journalist like me. She was here covering the terrorist trial. Our eyes kept crossing. We spent 4 days side by side. Just enough time for the trial to come to an end, for us to wrap up and spend an evening wandering along the banks of the Seine. Her eyes get a bit misty. It was really cold out, but we didn't even notice. Her smile suddenly vanishes. And then I just dropped her off at the airport. There you have it. She pauses. It was short, intense. We'll probably never see each other again. Maybe it's better this way. You think? She watches you for a second. Yes, of course. It's not like I was going to go with her. And what was it really? A few evenings together, a few hours here and there? She lifts her body slightly and seems to forget you. Or she shifts, not lifts. She's lost in thought. You can see her lips move, tremble from words she doesn't say out loud. Then suddenly you hear her whisper. Go with her. An odd look takes over her face. Yes. Take a plane, follow her, find her. But... She giggles. What would I tell work? I can't just... She doesn't bother finishing a sentence. Even she doesn't believe the lie she's telling. Yes. I have time to make up. Comp time. It's the least my editor can do. She pauses. Yes. I mean, why not? She's got a layover in London. Has to spend most of the day there. I go to the ticket counter and she stops. No. Tickets will cost me a fortune. She sighs. I know. I already looked. Next flight is at 6. Her eyes wander. A fortune. None of that was really intended for your ears, but you feel like answering all the same. Do I? I can say nothing. So how do you know? What if she's the love of your life? They'll make a pretty penny off those tickets. No, I'm saying nothing. It's not intended for me. She's scanning your face for a sign, an opinion. What should I do? Make a huge fucking mistake. Make a decision now. I have no idea. Make a decision now. You're right. She goes quiet. Something's holding her back. I'm just scared of making the wrong choice. Do I really need this money? This money I've saved up to go visit family, but when I'm there, I feel out of place. Like I'm suffocating. Where are you from? Reunion Island? You know where it is? I don't, but let's say yes. She shrugs. When I was younger, I thought I'd never be able to leave. And now, I feel like going back would be torture. She raised her hand abruptly. I'm the problem. It just doesn't feel like home anymore. My mum wants me to come every year and... She lets her sentence hang for a second. Seattle. She looks you straight in the eye. I have to go, don't I? I'm going to shrug. She smiles. Oh no, you can't do that to me. Silence. I don't even have a change of clothes, no toothpaste, not even a hairbrush. Her voice is shaking a bit. Just my passport. She raises her head. It's funny, isn't it? I always have my passport on me. It's funny. Charles de Gaulle Airport, please. She grins. As soon as you turn around and start heading back to the airport. The road is empty, wide open. The last planes have already left, and the first ones won't take off for a few more hours. You and passenger watches the road go by. I feel good. For the first time in months, like a weight's been lifted. That's love for you. Her grin gives colour to her words. You say that like it's obvious, like it's a natural state. But a lot of people are scared, they're in pain, they're suffering. She stares at you, a little smile on her lips. And you, how are you? Her question throws you off guard. She can tell. It's complicated. The tone of your voice casts a chill over the cab. Okay, I didn't mean to. She shakes her head. We don't have to talk about it. Your passenger is a journalist. Maybe she could help you, give you some information. I need your help. You need my help? You explain the situation, the attack, the hospital. Of course, you leave out beset. You don't talk about the wall on your at your place, the nightmares, your anxiety. I'm doing my own investigation. Her face lights up each time she learns something new. I didn't cover this story, but... She slips into thoughtful silence as you park in a drop-off spot at the airport. I know someone. She gazes deeply into your eyes. The first plane to London doesn't leave until 6 a.m. I'll have time to call my contact. He'll send you what he needs, what he knows about the judge. Between us, though, it's risky. The killer clearly knows people in high places. You nod. And now all I have left to do is empty my bank account and wait for my plane. Time to go. She pays and gets out the cab. You wave at her, a bit nonchalant. She does the same. You watch as she disappears into the terminal. Whoop whoop. Aw, yeah. Drove in a circle. Oh, we're not picking up a Santa Claus. That's just asking for trouble. Let's go do this random person down here. Oh my god, he wants to go far. I missed the last train. I'm going to the same thing. Alright. It's a long drive though. You pull up to the sidewalk to pick up the passenger who ordered a cab. You can just make him out, surrounded by 5 or 6 cops, an all too familiar scene. Every so often, the low, ominous tones of an officer's voice makes it to your ear. The circle of cops breaks up. You see your passenger. He heads over to the cab and gets in. He slams the door and lets rip. Motherfucking cops! He gives you his address and you start the car. The passenger stares out the window at the passing road as if to calm himself. You take a quick look in the rearview mirror. Everything alright? Yeah, sure. They're afraid to lay a finger on us nowadays. Don't want to get blown up. An ironic half smile appears on his face, then immediately disappears. He knows a bad joke when he hears one. What a fucking pain in the ass. Can't go up without getting screwed by each and every one of those son of a bitches. If you're not wearing a goddamn beret, if you happen to be wearing sweatpants, then yeah, right, you're a fucking hood. He smirks wryly, then raises his voice an octave. Your papers, please. He sighs, his voice back to normal. Yeah, sure. Shove your aunt to cock up your friggin' ass, buddy. Say nothing. Your passenger is looking out the window. The road passes by. There's very little traffic at this time of night. Only a few delivery trucks and worn-out drivers. Your passenger catches your eye in the rearview mirror and reluctantly removes something from his jacket pocket. The shape, it looks like a book, a paperback with a white cover. Say nothing. He puts the book back in his jacket and leans his head against the car window. The rest of the ride is carried out in silence. You reach your destination, a low building with peeling paint. You pull up at the sidewalk. The young man passes you the money for the ride straight away. Good night, man. He gets out of the cab quickly and disappears into the building. You start up the cab. Oh, no tip, but I did get money. Yeah, I don't want to talk to people. Some people just want to chill and not have their person talk to them. You know? So, I thought I'd leave it. You now know more about your clients. Check the Passadoo for more details. Okay, so... Company car maintenance, spending, investigation. current balance. That's not a bad going. At the foot of your front door, just behind a drain pipe, you notice an envelope. It's thick and heavy. You can just make out your name written in thick black marker on the front. Your real name. You take a deep breath and go inside. In the envelope, you find more information, just as Bisset promised. You lay them on the table. You look at the new evidence on the table. It'll take you a while to read everything carefully. Your neighbour flushes the toilet. Out of the corner of your eye, you can see the pipe shake. You sigh and get to work. Cool. Alright, let's hold to investigate this crap. Hold to investigate this crap. Hold. Oh, not enough time? Oh, shit. Oh, okay. Alright, what new stuff we got? We already know the killer's height. We already know that. Go away. Same information again. Killer fought with victim 1. Okay. Oh yeah, so this links to her, doesn't it? Victim 3, kernel of the junta process. And that actually... there's another one. Fought with victim 1. So put that there. Spent bullet case. How does that help? Let's move that over here. It's just a thing. We already know they fired a gun, because that ties up with victims killed with 1 bullet in the neck. Which would make sense for it to be a soldier. Considering the accuracy, I assume that would require some knowledge. Victim 3 known to have tortured prisoners. Death equals execution. What does it mean, death equals execution? No sign of violence on victim 3. Killing you. Okay, I really not getting this part of the game, really, at the moment. He seems to be making the decisions for me. All I can do is move them around. I can't seem to relink things, make any comments or anything. It just seems to be, yeah, weird. In fact, actually, looking at the time, there's probably not much point. We've got 10 seconds left, so... Oh, wait, oh, shit, our homeless guy's one of our suspects. Oh, shit, I didn't realise that. And that is it. That is time. Is there a mini? There you go. So that is Night Call. Yeah, when I saw this come up, because it's brand new onto the Game Pass, came out last week, I think. I looked at it and went, oh, that sounds like a good 1 hour in. And I clicked on it and it had loads of really low stars. Like it was poorly reviewed on the store. And I don't really know much about those types of reviews to judge on whether Xbox has got a good review system or not. But it had low reviews and that's sort of like I was like, well, it doesn't matter. Bad games are still interesting. So I thought I'd give it a go. But yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed, if I'm honest. So obviously when you play the game mainly, there's obviously a map with a car that's obviously driving that direction. But the map has nothing to do with what is happening on screen. Because you then got the second section at the bottom, which is very simplified, obviously, taxi conversation. That works fine. But it's clearly moving, despite the lines saying it's not moving. Like the girl that needed to go back to the airport, that one flipped around. But you never saw the map change. You just carried on in the direction you'd been given originally. So that just feels disconnected and like doesn't feel real. Just feels almost lazy. Like you either don't have it at all or make it work. Don't have it in this weird statement where it just doesn't match up, because it just takes you out of the experience. It's worse than if it just didn't exist. The talking is heavy, very, very heavy, and the dialogue is a bit... Is the word ostentatious? I don't know. It's a bit big in places. It doesn't always sound like real talking. It's all right. It's fine. It's perfectly passable, but it's very, very heavy, and it's a weird decision to design, like game design as well. Like as a taxi driver, you've got to try and solve these puzzles. It seems really weird. I don't know, I guess it's a way that so you can talk to lots of different people, and then the taxi drivers just sort of sim around it. I think it's going for that sort of papers please type like method of you know, you've got to survive while also trying to do this ulterior motive. But it's, I don't know, I don't know what to tell you. I just was disappointed. I don't want to play more. I don't really care about what's happened. They've taken some interesting like flashes. So, you know, whereas you're driving, you randomly get like a pharmacy come up, or when we're in the hospital, we randomly get close-ups of the drip bag and stuff like that. And that's all good. And it's got some really, someone has clearly invested a lot of time and love and energy into this game, and the ambiance, I suppose, the feeling of the game. But I just think it's not very fun. I don't know. Obviously, I'm only 2 days in, but considering it's taken me an hour to get through 2 days, you know, unless you just spam day and skipped all the dialogue. Obviously, I've got to read it, so it takes slightly longer to read dialogue than it does to like read it out than it does to just read it. But still, like, it's a very slow game where you're talking to lots of people, and I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. I don't know. But if you've seen this and you're thinking, oh, you know what, I love a good, you know, puzzle solving talkathon, you know, with characters, and, you know, maybe you can pronounce all the French words that I can't pronounce, then you know, you knock yourself out. I never want anyone to ever watch these and take my opinion at the end and think, oh, well, then I won't play it. It's the whole point. The whole value I see in the Game Pass is to play games that you wouldn't try. You know, I would never buy Nightcall. I gave it a go and I didn't like it, but someone else could see this and go, that actually sounds great fun, and then they get that opportunity to try it without having to buy it. You know, you pay for that service, and that's what I see the value, and that's the whole reason for this channel. So I absolutely, if you think you can enjoy this game, go out there, you have fun, but it wasn't for me. But yeah, thank you ever so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Shotgun Squirrel out.